Do you want to create a super engaging video resume that will help you stand out in the job market? In this tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through the exact steps we use to create this video resume reel. This will be an amazing asset to share with your potential employers and to post on TikTok and Reels and maybe have potential employers come to you. Sounds useful, right? Let's jump in. Let's start with our script and how we want to structure the video resume. Feel free to type out your script and then later we'll plug it into the video editor. You can start by simply introducing yourself and what you do. That's going to be the first line of the script. Then the next section is called About Me. You can write a short summary about yourself in the work environment, something like passionate and hardworking video editor. And then you can go ahead and end that line with the number of years of experience that you have. Next, we'll put a section where you can list your specific skills. We're going to go with 6 skills, so try to pick the 6 that best represent what you do. These are going to be things like Photoshop, Excel, Premiere Pro, or if you want to be a bit more broad, you could say camera operation, photography, video editing, something like that. The next section is where you put your work experience, so this one is pretty straightforward. You can pick 3 jobs that you think are the most impressive, or you can just go with your 3 most recent jobs, and you're going to type out the company, the position you had, and the time frame that you worked there. And then you have a section for hobbies. This one is great because you can throw in a little bit of personality. For example, Netflix and chill can be a hobby, or you can go ahead and put, crafting, knitting, playing guitar, whatever it is. And lastly, you're just going to plug in your contact information at the end so that your potential employers can get a hold of you. So go ahead and put in your email and your phone number. And then as far as media goes, you're going to want a nice headshot of yourself. Or if you want to be even more engaging, you could do a video of yourself, either just kind of smiling at the camera, or you could do a video of yourself waving, or something like that. Alright, so now that you've written your script, head over to InVideo.io. If you don't have an account already, you can create a free account. There will be a link in the description that'll take you to the sign up page. We're going to open up a blank canvas and make sure you select the 9:16 vertical option, then open your project. Now the first thing you want to do is plug in the colors that you want to use for this. We're going to be creating a lot of graphics, so make sure you pick a color scheme that you really like that represents you. To do that, you're going to come to the right side and select Change Project Colors. Okay, your next step is going to be to select a music track that you like. Come over to the left panel, select Music. That will take you to our library of royalty-free music, so you can use any of these for your project. So go ahead and find one you like. I'm going to try to find one that's kind of fun and upbeat. Okay, back to the design now. For the first page, I want to create a really eye-catching design. So I'm going to add some shapes and graphics. You can find these shapes on the left panel here. Just click on them to add them to your project, and then you can always change the color of them by clicking on them, then coming up to Fill at the top. As you can see, the Shapes panel here has a huge variety, and these can really add a lot of visual intrigue to your video. So now that I have a design in the background here, I'm going to come to the masks on the left panel. I'm going to add a mask. As you can see, there are different shapes you can choose from. I'm choosing this rectangle with a curve at the bottom. Then I can drag the video of myself onto the mask, or I can use a photo. I'm going to select Edit Mask real quick to change the position slightly. Next, I'm going to add some text to this scene. So come over to the left panel again, select Text, then select Add a Heading. So on this slide, we're going to introduce ourselves. You can come to the left side to change the font, and come up to the top to change the color. And then for some finishing touches, I'll add a hi, I'll add an arrow pointing to the name. And then we're going to give our elements some animation, which is going to look really cool. So select your element, click Animation at the top, and then go ahead and add in an effect. The next element I'm going to animate is the mask, and another thing I'm going to do is come to the advanced timeline. This shows me all of the elements on the scene separately, and then I'm just going to drag the mask out from the beginning of the scene a little bit, and that's going to make it come in a little bit later into the scene. And then I'll continue animating a few more of the elements using the same steps. Alright, and then about halfway through the scene, I want the name to go away and new text to come on. So this is where you can put your job title. I'm a designer, I'm a video editor, I'm a photographer, whatever it is. So I'm coming back to the advanced editor and dragging this title so it ends earlier. And then I'm going to duplicate it, and first I'll say and, then I'll duplicate it again and put the job title. Alright, so there's your first scene. Moving on, go ahead and add another scene. Our next scene is going to be the About Me section, and we're going to design this again using shapes and text. If you want to use any of the same shapes from the previous scene, you can copy and paste them into the new scene. Again, I'm customizing the colors of the shapes, and next I'm adding text. So this is where we're going to put our summary of what we do and our experience. Now I'm adding a few more shapes to give this visual intrigue, but I want the star to be behind the 10 instead of in front. So what I can do is come over to the right side, and there I can change the order of the elements. So I'll drag it so it's below the 10. And again, I'm going to go through and animate a bunch of the elements. We want the text to come in order, so I'm going to the timeline and staggering it. And then I'll just continue adding animation. Okay, moving on to the next scene. For this one, I'm going to base the design a lot off of the first scene, so I'm copying and pasting a lot to make it easier. And then for the list of skills, I'm going to use this kind of banner shape. I'm going to get it to the size and color I want. Then I'm adding a text box, and I'm putting a row of stars underneath, which looks really cool. And then once I like how that looks, I'm going to select all of that, copy and paste it a few times, and put it in a row. And then for the other side, I'm flipping it all the way around so that they kind of point at each other, and then I'll copy and paste that too and get them all lined up. Alright, our next scene is the work experience section, and I'm going to start by duplicating scene 2 because I want to base the design off of that one a lot, but then I'll change it up a bit, so I'll delete this shape and choose a different one. And then I'm going to move this little wave shape to the top and change the color. And then I'll build the list. I like the star shape that I have here, so I'm going to put it behind the numbers and then copy and paste that whole set. Alright, I'm adding another scene. For this one, I'm going to make the background yellow, and I'm going to paste a few elements from scene 1, like this grid and the text. And then this is the hobby scene, so this is kind of our fun one. So I'm going to add just a bunch of shapes and then put text boxes inside the shapes. Alright, now we're on to our last scene where we'll put our contact info. This one is super important, so we want it to be eye-catching, but we also want to keep it a very clean and minimal design. So I'm going to go with a lighter background, and then I'll highlight the number and email to make them stand out. And then I'm going to add a mask, and I'm going to fill it in with an image from our library of stock photos. So you can come to the left panel, select photos, and then search for something that represents your job. Okay, that looks good. Now the final step is to add some transitions. Click the little box in between each scene, and I'm going to go to the overlays section. I think these fit really well with the rest of the design. And then I'll add that between each scene. Alright, then if everything looks good, come up to download and share. That's going to load a preview, and then you can download your video. Also, if you decide that you want the same video in a different size, you can resize it at this point. It'll open up a new project with the same video in a different size. So that is how you create a video resume. If you want to use the same exact layout that I just created, we'll have a link to that template in the description below. So if that design fits your job description, go ahead and customize it and make it your own. And if it doesn't fit your job description, go ahead and create your own unique video using the framework that we just shared with you. If you did find value in this video, be sure to give it a like and let us know in the comments what tutorial you want to see next. I'm Teresa with InVideo.
Đăng ký dùng thử miễn phí phần mềm tạo video tại trang web InVideo.design.